Hi everyone, this is Carrie with the Thrive Shop, and today I wanted to share a couple phrases that I learned that were super helpful when I was in life coach training. These phrases have stuck with me through all the years. They're simple and super powerful to help shift some of the common patterns that keep us stuck in whatever our limitations or issues or blockages are. And if you can just constantly reaffirm these things in your mind and start to embed them in the way that you think about your approach to your own self and how you're doing your life, you can use them to make big underlying changes in the way that you are showing up, and to just clarify things so that there's not as much junk getting in the way of your day-to-day living. Those are: what you resist persists, and judgment is the glue that binds you to what you judge. It's very common for people when they start to witness themselves acting in a way that they don't like, in a way that they deem incorrect or wrong. And it may not be the ideal way to act, but a lot of times people will immediately launch into judgment. Oh God, I shouldn't have done this, I'm terrible, and totally resisting that part of yourself and putting it down and shaming it and putting it in the corner. Instead, what you actually need to do, since what you resist persists, and this really is true, if you're giving your energy to something and labeling it bad and demonizing it, you're literally giving it your power and giving it more energy to show up again in the future. That's how this works. It really just does work that way. And judgment is the glue that binds you to what you judge. So if you're judging the qualities in yourself that you would like to leave behind you in the past, they're gonna stick around. The more you judge them, the more you recreate them in your reality of the future. So we need to take a different approach, a 180-degree different approach. And what that is that when we see ourselves doing something, instead of shaming ourselves and punishing ourselves like a bad little child or something like that, we have to send love to the part of ourselves that apparently is somehow out of alignment or wounded enough to act in this way that we deem as problematic. It doesn't mean condoning ourselves to take harmful or destructive or negative actions, or to have negative word output either. We have to definitely practice restraint and not cause harm in the world outside of ourselves. But what we do in our inner world is a different arena. And that's what I'm talking about here. It's simply how we regard ourselves inside of our mind. Not a punishing, chastising kind of way, but instead loving ourselves. It's like if you have a little child and they're learning how to walk, and they're a toddler and they fall down every so often, you're not going to punish them and yell at them, because that's just the way it always goes. You always stumble when you're learning to walk, and you always fall. And that's the same way as when you're healing yourself and emerging into better and higher, more positive ways of thinking and being and acting and speaking. And so what you have to do is regard yourself with a level of love, like a divine parent, a perfect divine mother or father, and how they would act towards their beautiful, perfect, precious, divine child who is learning to walk and having the natural challenges that any perfect little toddler would have. You have to send that love to yourself and the part of yourself that is wounded, and have compassion and understanding for the fact that there was a reason that you got to be that way. Most likely before you had the capacity to do any better or any different, something got imprinted on you, and there was a trauma or this or that happened, or somebody impressed a negative belief upon you before you knew how to protect yourself from absorbing that kind of stuff. You were an innocent, perfect child that you fell into a circumstance and absorbed it before you knew any better than as how to protect yourself from it. So you have to start looking at yourself that way. As soon as you can send full love to that, while at the same time taking care to take responsible actions in the world around you and not harm other people, and to be responsible with the words you put out there as well. As long as you're going to start regarding your inner self with love through and through, that is the shining of light that has the power to actually remedy that and change the internal situation so that you do not have to continue being that way anymore. It's a very powerful teaching there, and I started working with that a long time ago, and it has been very effective. That it's one of my strengths at this point, is to be very unconditionally loving to other people, because I can do that to my own self and be unconditionally loving to myself with all my shadow aspects that I have, just the same as everyone else has them. And we can all take this on. It's just a matter of practicing it. So I'm putting this out there today so that you can take that on if it's something that you struggle with, judging yourself and beating yourself up. I want you to fully understand that that kind of attitude toward yourself is actually perpetuating the problem, and that you can resolve it in a very harmonious way by applying a very deep and nurturing love. And if you believe that you do not deserve that love, understand that you are wrong about that, and you actually do deserve that love. Everybody deserves that love. We are all precious beings of light. That's what we are. We all equally deserve the purest and fullest and truest and deepest love that there is. So do practice applying that to yourself and giving that to yourself if you want to elevate your caliber of thoughts and words and actions in the world. Thank you so much for listening, and I'll talk to you next time. Bye.